Today marks the annual observance of the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. The day aims to promote an understanding of disability issues, the rights of persons with disabilities, and the gains to be derived from the integration of persons with disabilities in every aspect of political, social, economic, and cultural life of their communities. In South Africa, the 3rd of December also marks the beginning of the Disability Awareness Month. We earlier spoke to Benny Phalime, who is the Director for Policy and Legislation in the Presidency.
In South Africa, we've actually declared it as a month in 2013. And it was a cabinet decision, and we have been going on celebrating different themes with different sub-themes and so on. And the same applies every year, this year as well. What we have done, we launched the month on the 3rd of November, and as you can see, today is the 3rd of December, and we're actually closing the month per se. Provinces are actually taking heed of the aspects that come up during the month, and they've got provincial parliaments, arts festivals, and also gatherings in the form of dialogue. So it's sort of public participation in general. And as the national office, we're talking to the media from time to time, like we're doing today, so that we then conscientize our people as to why this day is celebrated.
But then part of what the department says about the day is that it, as I said on my introduction as well, that it aims to promote an understanding of issues of disability. Why must these issues only be promoted on this day, whereas persons with disabilities are facing difficulties every day of their lives in the department?
No, the intention is to ensure that we deal with this matter holistically. So we're looking at a 365 campaign, 365 days campaign, which promotes and protects the rights and dignity of persons with disabilities as part of our citizenry. Secondly, this day is normally used internationally, though, to debate matters that come from different countries, different continents, challenges and experiences that they face and so on. So the United Nations usually would call on this day so that people must have seminars and dialogues and so on. So all of the matters that come out of the 364 days would then be debated and celebrated kind of during that particular day.
But do we have a reason to celebrate here in South Africa? I mean, I'm looking at the numbers. In fact, let's just talk about the prevalence of disability, because I remember years back there were some disagreements between the DPSA and Stats SA in terms of the numbers and the percentage when it comes to the prevalence of disability in the country. Do we have the correct number now?
Our numbers are not absolutely accurate. The current stature is that we are standing at 7.4%, not counting children between the ages of 0 and 3, and those that live in institutions. So what we have done in the next census, we've done through surveys and opinion matters to change the census question, so that then it covers everyone. Now, in the meantime, also, it becomes important that families participate in this process of counting persons with disabilities. Because Stats SA comes up with their own count, only to find that if you look at the overall general approach, you would find that it's almost 10% of the population has some form of disability. 1 billion people currently has some form of disability in the whole world. So you see, we are not going to reach a point of accuracy absolutely on point. Yes, but it's a matter that's going to be worked on very, very closely. And I promise you that, I mean, in the next 5 years, I probably think we'll definitely be able to reach the accuracy as
because
I
remember the PSA was arguing that the number is actually 2 times what Stats SA has mentioned. All right, so in 5 years' time, we shall have the correct, accurate number, so you say. Absolutely. 25 years into democracy, what strides or achievements has the country received in terms of the development of persons living with disabilities?
Well, I think there's been quite a number of strides that have been made in the field of education, largely in the field of employment. If you look at although unemployment is rife now currently, but there has been intake of persons with disabilities.
But the numbers of persons with disabilities
yes.
employed has dropped below 1%.
Yes.
This is a cause for concern, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's an economic issue, but I'll explain how we're dealing with that just in a minute. The question of health, rehabilitation, provision of assistive devices, promotion of equality, prevention of unfair discrimination. The courts have made very milestone cases, which has become a good jurisprudence for us to proceed as a country in terms of the penalties that have been issued, and the judiciary is really supporting us. You see, I think we are very lucky as a country because we've got political will from our executive authorities. As you can see now, the office has been moved from the Department of Social Development, and it's now in the presidency. And I'm working in that particular office to deal with these matters on disability. And so we've made quite a good number of strides that we can say successfully we are getting somewhere. To answer your question on employment, yes, it's a major problem. Currently, we are standing under 1% in the public service, same in the private sector. But in the public service, we've asked that all government departments must now look at 7% as equity target to increase that from 2%. So we've increased it by 5 years. Now, what we then do, we said we're taking persons with disabilities through headhunting processes, we're making an intake, we're calling on them to apply for posts when they're available, and they're very able to work if you give them tools of trade.